Marhaba, welcome back. We are moving on. We are now in Unit 9. So we only have 2 more units left, 9 and 10. We have now completed all of the letters in the alphabet. So what I would recommend is make sure you go to the Padlet. And I'll probably post this on HFC Online as well. And listen to the alphabet song. Sing with it. Practice it. So that you remember the letters and you remember how they sound and the order that they go in. So practice singing the alphabet song, writing out the alphabet, writing out the letters, and saying it as you're writing them. So we've completed all of those. Now what we are moving on to, like I said before, is all about reading. Okay, so today's lesson is a very, very important lesson, and that is about this right here. We're revisiting this, and this is the Alif Lam. And you guys already know this because we have covered this in the last lesson. Alif, Lam. When you have the letter Alif and you have a Lam. And we originally said that this Alif was actually a Hamza and it was a Lam, right? But because it's written so much, it's the definite article, we just end up writing Alif Lam without the Hamza. Okay. Now, the Alif Lam has very specific rules in terms of pronunciation. In terms of grammar, it makes a word definite, right? But in terms of pronunciation, what we need to do is talk about how we pronounce Alif Lam. Now, so far, we've only pronounced it as Al, okay? So, for instance, I'll put a word. You can pause it and read it. Al-qalam. Al-ustadh, al-ustadh, the teacher. Al-kursi, al-kursi, the chair. And in all of these, we're pronouncing the Alif Lam as Al. We're pronouncing the Al sound. Now, there is a special rule when it comes to Alif Lam, in that sometimes we pronounce it as Al, and sometimes we actually skip over this Lam and move to the next letter. Okay, and this rule has to do with 2 categorizations of letters, and that is called Huruf al-Shamsiyya wal-Qamariyya. So in order to know this rule, we need to learn this rule. So we have the first one, al-huruf, which means letters. And if you're following along, I'm on page 195. There's a chart at the bottom of the page. Al-huruf al-Shamsiyya. And the second category of letters are al-huruf al-Qamariyya. Shamsiyya comes from Shams, which is sun. So these are sun letters. And al-Qamariyya comes from Qamar, which is the moon. So these are moon letters. Al-huruf just means letters. So there's 2 categorizations of letters. There are what we call sun letters, and there are what we call moon letters. Okay. Now, so far, we have done moon letters in terms of words that take Alif Lam. And moon letters are when you have, I'll put it in a different color. Moon letters are the letters for which when you have Alif Lam and the next letter is a moon letter, you pronounce it as Al. And that's how we have normally done it. Sun letters are letters in which you have Alif Lam and the next letter is a sun letter. And instead of pronouncing the Lam, what we do instead is we skip over the Lam and we pronounce that sun letter with a shadda. Okay? I'm going to give you examples of all of these. But the reason why, let me tell you the reason why we do this. Moon letters are letters in which you do not use the front of your tongue when you pronounce them. Okay? So for instance, the example, al-qamar. The letter that's after the alif lam here is the Q sound, qaf. And if you say qa, qa, think of your tongue. If this is your tongue in your mouth, if you're not using the front portion of your tongue, then that letter is considered a moon letter. So when you say qa, you're using the back of your tongue and your throat. So you're not using your tongue. So therefore, you're going to pronounce it al. Huruf al-shamsiyya is the opposite. Some letters are letters that you use your tongue, the front of your tongue or the middle point of your tongue to pronounce. And so it becomes sort of like a tongue twister for you to say the letter L, the lam, which is in the middle of your tongue, and then follow it up with another letter that's using the middle or front of your tongue. So to make it easier, what we do is we just skip that lam altogether. So for instance, in this word, instead of saying al, we say ash-shams. We take this a sound and we skip it right over to that sheen, and there's a shadda on it. Ash-shams. And that lam gets skipped over completely. Okay. So let's go over a bunch of examples. So we'll put the rule right here again. We have shamsiya and we have qamariya. Letters that are shamsi, that are sun letters, are letters in which when you have alif and lam plus a sun letter after it, you do not pronounce the lam. You skip over and you pronounce that sun letter with a shadda. Okay. Huruf al-qamariya, moon letters, are a lot easier because it's the alif lam and you have a letter that's a moon letter and you just pronounce alif lam. Okay, so let's go through several examples. Okay, if I say alif lam al, we have the word bab. So what you want to do is you say, okay, I've got an alif lam. What's the letter right after that alif lam? So we've got alif lam. What's this letter? That is the letter ba. So say the letter ba to yourself, ba. We're using our lips to create the sound. Are you using the front of your tongue or the middle of your tongue to create that sound? You are not. So if you're not using your tongue, you're not using the front of your mouth, all you do is you just pronounce it al. Al-bab. The door. Al-bab. Let's do another one. Here's a word. Thobe, which is an old word that we did, means dress. If I put alif lam here in the front, now we have an alif lam, al, and then this letter, the letter tha. Say the letter tha. Do you notice how the front of your teeth, the front of your tongue is touching the tip of your front teeth? Tha. That means you're using your tongue to create that sound. So if you're using your tongue to create that sound, it is a sun letter. And so what we do for sound letters, put it in red, is we simply put a shadda over that letter. And instead of saying L, we're going to skip that and we're going to connect it to the letter tha. Ath. And then the letter tha has this fatha already on it, so we pronounce it a second time. Athobe. Or if you want to write it with an O. Athobe. Athobe. So that lam got skipped altogether because the letter tha is a sun letter. Okay. Let's do another one. Toot. If I put alif lam in front of the word toot, I have alif lam and then I have the letter ta. Say the letter ta. Do you use your tongue? You do. You're using the tip of your tongue, ta, right behind the front teeth on the top. So that means it is a sun letter. It's shamsi. We call it harf shamsi. If I say harf Shamsi, that means sun letter, one letter. Okay, so if it's a sun letter, we're going to put a shadda on top of it. And when we pronounce it, we're going to take the ah sound and jump right to that shadda. We're going to skip that lam altogether. So the lam becomes silent. We still keep the lam on the word, and that's because it is still a definite word. But we end up skipping the lam in pronunciation. Okay, so we're going to connect the ah to the t sound, at, and then this word, toot. Atut. Atut. Okay. Let's do another example. So you try to figure it out. You can pause the video. So we have al, and then we have this letter, kha. Kha is in the back of the throat. Are you using the front of your tongue or the midpoint of your tongue? You are not. So this is considered a moon letter. So if it's a moon letter, we just pronounce it normally. Al, khawkh, al-khawkh, the peach. Okay. So that is the rule for sun letters and moon letters. The only exception to the rule, there's one exception to the rule, and that is the letter Jim. The letter Jim is a letter in which you do use your tongue to pronounce, but it is considered harf qamari. It's considered a moon letter. So if I wanted to say the university, we say al-jami'a, al-jami'a. Okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to look through page 195. You're going to look through the chart and go through all of those letters. Okay? All of those letters there are separated out. So al-huruf al-shamsiyya are the first row, and that is letters that use your tongue. Okay? So we have a ta here, tha, dal, dhal uses your tongue, ra uses your tongue, hitting the roof of the mouth, zay, same thing. Seen and sheen also use your tongue. These two letters might seem difficult, but they're actually using the sides of the tongue against the molar. So the middle side of your tongue is touching your molar in those. So that is also considered shamsi. Also sad and dad, same thing. Those are using the middle of your tongue. Ta, dha, and lam and noon. Noon for sure uses your tongue. Lam is using your tongue. That's why we have this rule, right? Because lam is using your tongue, and you have the letter lam and al, and then another letter with your tongue. So you don't want to do gymnastics in your mouth. So you end up skipping the lam. When you have two lams, so for instance, if I have al, and then I have, for instance, this word is color, alone. Technically, what's happening here is because lam is shamsi, technically you're skipping it and you're pronouncing it like that. But really, it doesn't make a difference because you're still pronouncing the lam twice, alone. Okay, so these are all your examples of sun letters. And then the next list that we have is going to be your moon letters. So we have the hamza. So anytime you see a word that has hamza, so if I have al, the father, al-ab, the hamza is there, we're pronouncing the al. Okay, ba uses your lips, you don't use your tongue. Right, jim we said was the only exception to the rule. And then we have the letter ha, the letter kha, we have ayn and ghain. Both of those are in your throat. All four of these are actually in your throat. You're not using your tongue at all. Fa, using the lips. Qaf, using the back of the mouth. Kaf, same thing. Mim, using the lips. Ha is in your chest. Wow, using the lips. And the letter ya. So none of these are using the front or the middle of your tongue. And so all of these are considered qamari. So if you have Alif Lam and the next letter is qamari, you're just going to pronounce it al like you normally have with any of the words that you've done. Okay? So I'll do some examples where I give you a word and you're going to pause it, figure it out, and then come back. Let's rewrite that. I wish I could make the pen thicker. So here we have Alif Lam, and then we have the letter Slad. And Slad uses the middle of your tongue. It is considered Shamsi. It's in this list right here. So what you want to do is any letter that is Shamsi, if it's a sun letter, after Alif Lam, all you're going to do is put a shadda on it. And that's going to remind you that, oh, okay, I have to skip the lam. I can't say al-sabah. I have to say as-sabah. As-sabah. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this one. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more on the page. Okay, so we have here Alif Lam followed by Noon. Na uses your tongue. So we're going to put a shadda, it's Shamsi. It is a sun letter. And we're going to say An-Nur. Sayyara has a Seen. Seen we also said is Shamsi, uses the middle and side of your tongue. So put a shadda on the Seen. Skip the Lam. As. And then the word Sayyara. As-Sayyara. As-Sayyara. Alif Lam, here we have the letter Kha. Doesn't use your tongue, so it's Qamari, it's a moon letter. Going to pronounce the Al regular. Al-Khair. Al-Khair. So now what you want to do is on page 196, you want to look through drill 1. And what you're going to do for drill 1 is for each one of those words in your book, if you have Alif Lam and the letter after it is a sun letter, you're going to simply write a shadda over it and practice pronouncing it. And then you can go online and you can listen to the words to see if you're saying it correctly.